Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about the 24 books that I plan to read in 2024. Today is a couple of days after Christmas and I thought I would do this video because why not? I'll probably end up reading more than 24 books because some of them are very short. So there are actually more than likely a few more than 24 on this list. My name is Harmony, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. On this channel, I talk about books, book reviews, and any other reading related things I can think of. I'll start off by saying that the first 5 or 6 books of these are going to be all for the same book club. I'll leave a link in the description to Alice's channel, Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. She's one of the hosts of the FOMO book club, so the books that they feel that they've missed out on, they're trying to read during like a couple of months of the year. So anyway, in January and February, I'm going to be reading with them Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. I know nothing about this book because I just saw the title and thought, maybe I will get that and read it just because. I have no idea what it's about, so okay, whatever. In March and April of 2024, I'm going to be reading Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Paterson? I don't know how you pronounce that, but I don't know again what that book's about, but it sounds something, I don't know. I want to say that it's set in Ireland. I could be entirely wildly mistaken, but there it is. I should probably look at the synopsis beforehand, but this is me we're talking about. In June, no, hang on, sorry, May and June, I think it is, we're going to be reading Unsheltered by Barbara Kingsolver. Again, I don't know anything about this one, but you know, it seems to be quite the popular book that apparently most people have read, so yeah. In July and August, I'm going to be reading Strangers on a Train by Patricia Highsmith. Now, that one, the title sounds a bit boring, but at the same time, it sounds like a kind of, I don't know, adventurous type of thing. So, yeah, alright. In September and October of 2024, we're going to be reading Horror Store, I think is how you pronounce that. That is firmly in the horror category, which is a new genre to me, so I'm looking forward to trying that one. That, by the way, is by Grady Hendrix. All of these are going to be new authors to me that I've mentioned so far, by the way. And now on for things of my own choice. What you are looking for is in the library by that Japanese author whose name I can never pronounce. But I've heard good reviews of it and some mixed reviews, but only because the people have been disappointed because apparently there's a picture of a cat on the front cover of it, and so some people picked it up thinking it was a book about cats. Like, no, not really. So apparently it's one of those where it's more of a series of short stories where the people go into the community library and get suggested a book, and that book apparently solves all their problems or whatever it is that they're trying to figure out. Which sounds a really cool book. They're all connected, all the stories are connected because they're surrounding the same community library. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one at some point during the year. I probably won't get to this one until April or May because, well, then again I might read it before, but you know. My Life It's a Long Story by Willie Nelson. Actually, looking at the looking at the page count for this book, it's not actually that long. It's probably going to be one of those that's a slow paced type thing. Alright, what else? Agatha Christie, Lucy Worsley's book. I am going to get round to reading that book next year. I can't remember the title of it, but there's a book about about Agatha Christie's the real life crime investigation things that inspired some of her books. I was hoping to read that this year, but didn't get around to it because of technology issues. So I'm hoping to read that fairly early on next year. Demon Copperhead, another Barbara Kingsolver book. Again, I've heard mixed reviews of it, but I thought, well, I'll give it a try. Anne of Avonlea by L.M. Montgomery. Yes, I have to continue the Anne of Green Gables series because I've heard the audio of it many times, but I want to actually sit down and read it. So that one is Anne Shirley as she's just finished school and becoming a teacher, and so she starts being a teacher in the village where she went to school, and also a set of twins are adopted at the same time into Green Gables, and so yeah, that is what that one is about. Midland Ghosts. I can't remember the author of that one, but that is about ghost encounters and haunted things from the Midlands of the UK. The Art of Invisibility by Kevin Putnick, I think it is. That does have a subtitle, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. It's essentially one of the ones about online privacy and hacking and protecting yourself from such and all that. So I'm quite looking forward to reading that one. I found that by chance a few days ago, so yeah. That one should be a good one to read next year. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I've not read any of Jane Austen's books, but there's this thing going on online that they call Jane Austen July, so or you read at least one Jane Austen book in the month of July, so I will probably do that. The Man with No Face by Peter May. Of course I had to read another Peter May book at some point during the course of the next year, because I was writing this list and I realised, hang on, I have not read any Peter May since forever. So yeah. It's one of his earlier books, I think, and this autistic girl remembers the details of the crime that occurred, but for the man's face. So it's a case of trying to identify the criminal when she can't actually remember what the guy looked like. Yesterday's Children by Jenny Cockell. That is a book that I finally got hold of in print this year. I'm hoping to read the electronic braille version of that later in the year. Well, not necessarily later in the year actually, but at some point, because it's a reasonably short book. Sparkling Cyanide by Agatha Christie. That's one of her standalone books, so I would quite like to get to that, because it's Agatha Christie and crime fiction, and yeah. The Winter of Ghosts by Kate Moss. Now, I intended to read that one this year, but I won't have time, so I'm probably going to read that early on in the year. And yeah, it's a ghost story, and so I'm looking forward again to reading that. No One Is Too Small to Make a Difference by Greta Thunberg. I'm probably going to read that as part of the whole Shorty September thing that goes around on YouTube, on other online things, because that's only a very short book, like 80 pages. So yeah, why not? Wuthering Heights. I'm gonna read that. That's Emily Bronte, by the way. Her only published novel. I'm gonna read Wuthering Heights probably as part of Victober, so where you read a Victorian book in the month of October. There are normally prompts for that, but I just read whatever Victorian book I end up reading. But yeah, it's one of those books that people throw in the classics category, so I'm going to give it a read. No doubt I will get a bit bored with it, but I'll give it a read anyway. A History of Scotland by Neil Oliver. I assume this is just what it says by the title, and so I'm figuring that needs little explanation, but I live in Scotland, so yeah, why not? North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. Now that I've heard some pretty interesting things about, so I'm going to give that one a try. I think Elizabeth Gaskell was also friends with Charlotte Bronte, so that should be quite something. The Library of Greek Mythology by Apollodorus. That is translated. I can't remember who the translator was, but it's translated into English. I don't read Greek, so yeah, nor do I read Japanese, which is why I'm reading translated stuff. Although I would much rather read things in their original form, but hey ho, such as it is. You hear a lot about Greek mythology and the gods of this or that, so why not? Yeah, why not? I will do that. That's probably a somewhat longer book, so I'll read that throughout the year. A couple of rereads, or potential rereads anyway. Around the World in 80 Trains. I tried to read that a few years ago, but got really bored halfway through, which I'm surprised about because, well, I like travelling, and travelling is fun and interesting and all that, but then I just never ended up finishing it. The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists by Robert Tressel. Again, I got 2/3 of the way through that a few years ago, and for whatever reason I just didn't finish it, so I have that electronically now, so I'm gonna give it another try. The Mystery of the Blue Train, continue with the Hercule Poirot series by Agatha Christie. The Mystery of the Blue Train is the one immediately after The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. So, of course, I am a stickler for continuing things in series order, so I'm gonna give that one a go. Gonna read that one as well. I've just started The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, so I'm reading that one, and I'm finishing Jane Eyre. Getting a bit bored of Jane Eyre though. But yeah, and the other one that I will read, assuming I've read Anne of Avonlea, is I'm going to read Anne of the Island, also by L.M. Montgomery. That will be continuing the Anne of Green Gables series. Now there are probably some other books that I haven't added to the list that I would quite like to get to next year, one of which being Felix the Railway Cat, which sounds a really awesome book, sweet little book, so I'm hoping to read that with Alice of Alice and the Giant Bookshelf next year, and probably later on next year, because she's got a bunch of stuff going on earlier in the year, which is fine, because I'm going to be doing other stuff anyway. I'm going to be also next year doing a read what you own thing, so I'm going to read as much as I can from the books that I already have before I go and download or buy some more. Have any of you guys got any suggestions for books that I should read in 2024? Or what do you think of the ones that I currently listed? Well, that'll be all for now, but if you like this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, and I will see you all in the next video.